Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of how to build a cost calculator for your website on WordPress. So for this template, we're going to look into building a food catering template that anybody with a food catering business can load this template and use it. So with a website pretty much that I looked at for inspiration on how they do their pricing, they had two different ways they deliver the food, one with disposable trays and one with shafting trays. The shafting trays are more elegant, I suppose, so they charge an extra 19% fee. So in order to trigger an extra 19% fee on the total, what we're going to do is we're going to use the custom math element to add the extra fee called shafting trays. Upgrade, I guess you can say, and it'll be a 19%. But what we're going to do is we're going to add a conditional logic to only trigger if the user selects shafting trays. So what I did is I went down to the in the same subsection, I clicked on add element, and I am now creating a drop-down menu where users can click called delivery option. Option number 1 will be disposable trays, and that's going to be a $0 cost. And then we're going to add an option right here, and we're going to call this one shafting trays. We're going to add into the title a plus 19% fee, upgrade for 19%, upgrade for 19% extra. I don't know if you'd have to come up with a better terminology. I'm just doing this quickly. So it'll be $0 because we're charging a percentage. We're not charging a dollar amount, and that's the reason why we're doing it this way. Another reason why we're doing it this way is because if it was a dollar amount, it would be multiplied by the quantity of the guest. So it's just a different way of doing it. But if you say, let's say a shafting tray is $1 per guest that is going to be sitting down to eat, then what you would do is you would just do the dollar amount here, and you wouldn't do this conditional logic thing that I'm about to do. So it's the choice is yours. We give you full flexibility here. So just do $0, 19%, and now you have to save the option here in order to become selectable within the conditional logic that we're going to be doing. So down here we go to custom math. This will be conditional logic, and you'll be, not only are you showing, but you're also billing. I just want to make that clear here that the conditional logic for this element, the custom math element, this is a very special, unique element that not only allows you to show and hide it, which would be here. It would show and hide under the conditional logic, but it'll also actually add this math only if it's being shown. So you get that extra ability there. If delivery option equals the shafting trays, that's the only time that we are going to bill. So let's go ahead and change this here. The other thing too is because the delivery option, it is mandatory for someone to kind of pick an option in order for us to know what they want. Go to advanced options and click on mandatory, and let's go ahead and save this again. So now delivery option, shafting trays, boom, you got your 19%. Let's see if it's working. Let's go to 51 and let's do here. You got the 19%. All right, and then if you see here, there's no more shafting tray fee. And then if we go to shafting tray, we get the 19%, and then there's the 19%. So it only gets added when we select it. So now it's working perfectly fine. All right, so now what's next is to maybe do some add-ons. So for example, maybe people want some maybe checkboxes or some buttons that they can click on if they want to customize this order even further. So let's go ahead and investigate that. Another thing I want to mention too is that if we go back here at this one example, you're going to see that the more people, obviously it's going to cost less per person. So we also did that as well down here under the pricing structure of the slider, of the quantity slider right here. We've made it so that from 0 to 24 people it's $14 per plate, then it gets to 13, 12, and so on and so forth. So you do not want to select sliding scale, because what sliding scale does is from 0 to 24 will be $14 in total, not $14 per person. So that's what the difference of the pricing structure here. So we're not copying this website entirely, but we're just getting kind of ideas of what other fees are involved here. So there's let's go here and see if there's any other labor cost, timing, supplies. Trying to see if there's any a la carte options that people might want. So there's one idea coming to mind. Maybe you will charge a per kilometer fee. So what we're going to do is we're going to add this to a new subsection so that it still stays under this title, but it's not going to be affected by this slider anymore, because we're going to use our own slider for the delivery, let's say mile or kilometer. And we don't want the 19% shafting trays to affect the delivery. So because of that, we're going to do a different subsection, and this different subsection helps separate the math. That's the idea behind it. So let's add a drop. Actually, let's not add a drop down. Let's add a I guess we can add another slider, or we can do a quantity box. Let's just do slider, and let's say we can call it distance, how far their venue is from maybe downtown. So just delivery distance, and then I guess in brackets, maybe you can do a little explainer saying, it's the distance calculated from the downtown core of the city that you're in. So let's just say you're okay to deliver up until about, say, 100 kilometers or 100 miles out. You can even say this in kilometers too. And you're going to charge, let's say, 50 cents per kilometer or per mile as an extra delivery fee. Or what you could do actually is within the city, 0 to 30 is $0, and from 30 to the maximum of 100, you're going to charge an extra 50-cent fee per kilometer. So that would probably be the best option there. Keep in mind that the 50 cents will be charged upon the entire amount, and it's not going to give you that discount on the 0 to 30, so you might have to just decrease it by a little bit in order to compensate for that. So you can say, you can put in brackets here, 0 to 30 kilometers included, or something like that, so people know. So let's go ahead and refresh this. You can either click the refresh or the save button. They do the same thing. And now you can do disposable trays. You want this meal. You're gonna go to 55 people per meal. I also wanted to mention that these meals are included in the price, and then you're paying an extra $1.50 per guest. If you want to know how we set that up, you would just look here. You'll notice that in the food, choose your meals, that everything is $0 here because it's included in the base fee, which is calculated at the slider level, and then you're just adding another $1.50 if people want to pay extra for that. So then you have your distance within 0 to 18, not getting charged, and then as you get up, as you can see, the amount is now getting increased because it's now charging for that. Click on detailed lists, and you're going to see here these lists getting detailed. If you want to take payment, by the way, you can go down to the bottom of the calculator and you can integrate this with PayPal and Stripe and WooCommerce. You need WooCommerce installed as a plugin in order to use that, obviously, so that's the reason why this is not working for us. But you can go ahead and set up PayPal, include tax or not include tax. You can choose your currency. You can do all kinds of stuff with this. So another thing to keep in mind too would be I like to choose style number 2, because style number 2, if you refresh, it puts things to the left. It's just a preference that I have. So now everything is kind of I like how it's nice and separated for each line. I also don't like when the cost calculator is wide, so my advice to you guys is to add a container width to whatever container you're putting this into, whether it's Divi, themes, or Elementor, or whatever you're using. Just make the container size like a max of 900 pixels or something. It just doesn't look good when it's super wide. These buttons down here, you can kind of make it a little fancier if you want. So go to button style 2, save this. And now you get these little cute fancy buttons. Feel free to also add fonts as well. So for example, I don't know, maybe food delivery, maybe brown is a good color. I'm not sure. What I like to do too is find cool color palettes online and then go with that. I can show you real quick. Alright, so I just browsed here and found a nice website that I think the colors look really nice. So for this green, you just right click here, click and inspect in Google Chrome. And what you want to do is inspect until you get the full element. And then scroll down until you see that green color. Here it is. It's a nice one. So we can go back. Alright. So now let's go ahead and save this and see what it looks like. Already it's starting to look nicer. You can probably even do, and then as they select it, they get, yeah, it just looks nice. For, let's say maybe, for font, maybe we can do the same color for here as well. Let's see what this looks like. Alright, so just to finalize, what we'll do is we'll, in the same subsection as the slider for the delivery, let's just go ahead and add a few elements here. Let's add a simple button, I guess you can say. And let's just do some add-ons. Maybe people want some premium add-ons. Okay, so here are the add-ons that I found from a website. And because it's going to be a per person add-on, we're going to go ahead and add this to the, let's do chairs and stuff like that. Let's delete this checkbox here that we have, and we're going to add it above the number of guests so that the number of guests will multiply what we're doing here. So where it says number of guests, we want to go down to the add element, so it's in the same subsection. And let's go ahead and do simple buttons, and let's add a few options. So let's do chairs, let's do glassware, let's do flatware, utensils, and I don't know what they mean by equipment. Okay, I have no idea how much this stuff costs, so let's just do $5, $2, $1, $2. I have absolutely no idea. So for this here, there's no title because they just get added as buttons. I can show you here, and we can show you how this, how the math works as well. So for simple buttons, when you're at the when you're doing style number 2, it's going to get loaded as um, they're not going to be inline, but you can change that with some CSS quite easily. But they'll be stacked up beside each other on the other one. You can also maybe change the simple buttons to maybe check boxes as well. But these will be some additional items that they can add. All right, so for this case, I'm just going to go ahead and switch it to we're going to switch this out from simple buttons to an animated checkbox. Yeah, there we go. I think that looks pretty cool. So you can just go ahead and select what trays you want, what food you want, what extras you want, the number of guests. Look in the detailed list, and this looks pretty cool. The people have quite a few options. They can print this, they can download it, they can email it to themselves through adding their email. You can remove the email button so that they're forced to purchase it through PayPal or Stripe. You can remove the detail list button if you don't want to give them this information. If you want to collect their email, then why don't you remove detailed list and only have email so that they're forced to put in their email in order to see the breakdown. You can also hide the total here as well so that they have to get their, it's up to you of how you want to use this software. There's many options.